Hi, how's everybody doing? Good little break there too, so freshen up there too. But our final presentation of the day is a presentation on the partnership between Wapaha Dakota First Nation, Wapahaska Dakota First Nation, in partnership with the University of Minnesota Dakota student presentation. Please welcome Sisokaduta. He is an enrolled member of the Sisitin Wakpetuan Oyate and teaches Dakota language at the University of Minnesota. Sisokaduta grew up speaking English and learned Dakota as a second language. His grandparents were fluent, and he wants to pass on the Dakota language to the next generation. So welcome, Joe Bendickson. I think his mic, eh? Are you there, Kora? Yeah, so if you have any questions for Joe at the end of the presentation, just leave it in the comments section, and just thank everybody for commenting on the comment section too. There's some questions or two. Sometimes we run out of, there's too many questions. We just pass them on to our speakers afterwards, and we have to make sure all the questions are answered there too. But I think, Joe, you ready to go?
Yep, I got my microphone working, so. Yep, I'm gonna just share my screen here. So give me a second. Go into present mode. Okay, can you see that?
Oh,
Watch that. So I'm going to be talking about the Whitecap Dakota First Nation and University of Minnesota Dakota Language Partnership. So I'll talk first, and then afterwards we'll have some of the Whitecap Dakota First Nation students share their experience with the partnership. So that's kind of the order of things. So. Tokahia Matue He Iwawahida Kikte Shishokaduta Miedo Damakota Sisituan Wachpetuan Dakota Oyate Mataha Bede Hirakia Oyanke Edomawa Pido Ka Sisitun Otue Ed Matumpi Ka Sisitun Otue Ka Imnija Ska Otue Edimachache Dakota Yapi Kinde Yuha Yumachacheshne Wanyitu Wikchimana Manupa Heha Dakota Yapi Kinde Unspe Michichie He Washka Wana de Omaka Wikchimana Nupa He Haya Dakota Yapi Kinde Unspe Michichie Nako Wana de Imanijiska Otue Edwati Minnesota Walton Span Wakantia, University of Minnesota Eapi, Ed Dawani, Waechamo, Dakota Yapi, Wa Unspe Wichakia, Hemacha, Walton Spe Kwa, and Dakota Yapi Kinde Unspe Wichawakia, and Ob Wawa Dake. Wana de Omaka Ake Yamani. He hired Minnesota one spell on Hadje Dawani. Wani ke Nina Washte Wadake. Nako Dakota Iapi Kinde Nina Te Wahinda. Unkana Kunshi Hana Dakota Iapi Makoshka Heha Dakota Iapi He Toka He Nawaho. He daha Dakota Iapi Kinde Umaspe Wachi. On Wa Unspe Wichakia Washte Ota Wichabidu He Hena Daku Ota Unspe Makiapi Hena Nina Wichawada uh, aku umas baking hana hana was what was baking hana what was bakwa we chawa kuwa chen Eched tokatakia Dakota yapi kinde nikde. Tokatakia Dakota yapi nikde hestudway. Echinch wana de wichota yapi kinde unspe ichich yapi. Techapi kin na ija yapi kinde bahi pika hiduhamani pi enina yopakpi. Hewa Tokatakia yapi kinikde hestudway. Na competitive Dakota language partnership can he iwawa kikde. Tokahia Minnesota once by wakatia Dako chong kumpi can iwawa kikde. He han partnership can iwawa kikde. He han wo unspekwa whitecap wapahaska wo unspekwa can hana o ihera kapde ka Ohio can dokiri champi he iwo hiraka. One hour shichu like that. So I just wanted to say hello to everyone. And I'm Sisokaduta. I'm from Lake Traverse Reservation, Wapton, Dakota. And I didn't grow up speaking Dakota. I started learning when I was about 20 years old. And I've been learning for about 20 years. So I live here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I work at the University of Minnesota teaching Dakota language and teach the students, talk with them, and everything I've learned, I try to pass off to the students. So really good to see all the students learning, and there's a lot of interest nowadays. And so I'm really excited because there's so many people learning. That makes me feel good about the future of the language, that it's going to live into the future. It's good to see all the young people learning. I mean, I'm not old myself, but you know, I see people 20 years ago, like when I was 20, I see a lot of younger people, 20 and younger, really wanting to learn. And so it makes me feel happy. And I'll talk about our partnership today. And first, I'll talk about what we do at the University of Minnesota. And then I'll talk about the partnership. And then after we get through all that, the students will share their thoughts with all of you. So let's see. Okay, so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Kind of all the different points I'll talk about. So Department of American Indian Studies was founded in 1969. And it's the oldest American Indian Studies department in the United States. And we have a critical comprehensive education, and we prepare our students for career in policy, education, community development, and we offer Dakota and Ojibwe language. So that's kind of just a little bit about where I work at. And, you know, it was founded by community members who were wanting to have a degree program for our people, and to have people learn about who we are as American Indian people, Indigenous people. And so it was really out of community activism that this program was founded. And our U of M Dakota language program was founded in 1971. And there was 3 fluent speakers, and I couldn't remember the name of the third one. I asked our other instructor, Neil McKay, about who the third speaker was. And I couldn't remember the name off the top of my head, but Rebecca Flute and Carolyn Schomer. And I know the last name is Decore, but I can't remember the first name. But there was three Dakota women who founded our program and created our curriculum and textbooks. And so that kind of formed the basis of our program starting in 1971. And so, we really rely upon their expertise to really kickstart everything and give us the foundation for our program. And so, sometimes people don't know that our program was founded by these three women. So, and I think from my teachings that I was given was that the language comes from the women and the women who pass on the language to us from birth forward. So I'm always very thankful for the people who founded our program. Some of the courses we offer at the University of Minnesota are beginning Dakota. So we have year one. So we have it starting in the fall and goes all the way to the spring. So that's like 30 weeks of Dakota language. And then it repeats every year. So then you go to the intermediate Dakota level, another 30 weeks, fall to spring. Advanced Dakota, fall to spring, 30 weeks, and Mastery Dakota, year 4, fall to spring, another 30 weeks. So by the time somebody would go through all 4 years, you would have spent about 300 hours in class using the Dakota language. And I always think about that 300 hours. That's good, but I always tell the students they should spend 2 hours outside the class. For every 2 hours in every hour in the class, you should spend 2 hours studying and speaking the language outside of class. So if everyone did that, then you would have 900 hours, and then this past year, I actually made it required that they spend time studying the language outside of class. And so that was part of the grade. And I know I was reading recently about the Hawaiian people, and they do 1,300 hours of language in 4 years. And if you spend 1,300 hours speaking another language, you'll get highly proficient very fast. So, I always try to encourage them to spend as many hours as they can outside the classroom with people in their community, with their elders, with other speakers, other teachers, with each other using it. And so the more time you spend on it, the faster you progress. And other courses we offer too, Dakota linguistics, Dakota language for teachers. So if somebody is thinking about going into a teaching career, then we have a class where teachers will learn different language you can use in the classroom. We have an Indigenous language planning course that is shared by both Dakota and Ojibwe language programs because, we have both languages in our department. So we try to keep that one a little neutral. so that both Dakota and Ojibwe people go through that course. And then we have a teaching practicum. It's a 1 semester long course. And you sign up and you go to a local school and you go in there and you shadow a teacher for a whole semester. So they kind of give you some real world experience. And then, if you would go through all those courses, then you would earn a teaching certificate. I will say it's not a teaching license, but, it just says that you've reached a high enough level to become a teacher. So, and then when we had in-person classes, of course, I'm sure all of us are doing distance learning now because of the pandemic, but this is an example of some of the different things we would do in class. We would We actually did the turtle goes to war story a couple times. So, just different things we like to do with the students. And it's a lot of fun. We try to make the classes fun. So that kind of goes into my next one is like the pedagogy. So we always acknowledge that it's an oral language first, and that we should concentrate on speaking and listening. Uh, and so, we always try to encourage the students to listen to everything that's being said very carefully. And that's going to come first is that comprehension, that listening piece. And as one of our Dakota values, right? Listening, And so then comes the speaking portion. So we always try to do that in class is to get people talking, using the language with each other, with their fellow students. So that way, they're when they have to use it outside the classroom, uh, there's kind of a little bit of shyness to it, right? Because they're still learning. They're at the beginning level. And so sometimes, you're a beginner, you're a little reluctant to use it with other people outside your people you've been learning it with. But, we got to kind of break down that barrier a little bit, so that they're not as shy. And then interpersonal communication, communicating with each other, using the language with each other. And so then, we also have our cultural protocols, using the relative terms, proper greetings, different things to do when you're communicating with other people. I saw in the other presentation, right? You bring your tobacco, you bring your gift to your elders, So if you're in the community, make sure you do things in the proper way so that we're passing these things on. And then a lot of what we try to do is kind of a new terminology that I learned about was this project-based learning. And so I tried to give the students a project to do so that when that they can go off and kind of like apply what they learned in class and create something with it. And usually it involves some kind of like short story or some other kind of project. And so, they might have to do some kind of project on their family tree, who their family is. Um, and a lot of it, what we would do is we like, I'll present some kind of story that they'll have to listen to. They'll have to read the story. Then they write it out and I give them feedback on their writing. And then they tell the story. And a lot of what they do is they record themselves speaking. And then they turn that in as a for homework assignment. Uh, and so some of the things we've talked about are history, history of their community, history of their family, different traditions that we do as Dakota people, their daily routine, stuff they do when they wake up, go to bed, they're traveling, eating dinner, all that sort of stuff. And then they record themselves. And then that's kind of how they get feedback and graded. And so I think the students will talk about that later, what they thought about that. But I found it very useful because they're kind of like given a task to do. And then we learn about everything that is needed for the task. And then they go off and they work on it. And then they come back. Um, so, for online classes, we started doing that actually before the pandemic. And we kind of had really low enrollment. We're over here in the Twin Cities, and honestly, the University of Minnesota is super expensive tuition. So a lot of times it's too expensive for people to come to school here, unless you get scholarships. And so we didn't have a lot of students. And so they were said, we're going to cancel your classes, And so then we said, oh, well, let's take our classes online and see if we can get more students interested in taking the courses. And we have a language scholarship too. And so we offered the scholarship, and we got a lot of students to sign up. So we went from 7 to 20. And then we used this software called Pinnaca, and there was a lot of different technical problems with that, and it made it difficult for the students. Sometimes they couldn't hear what was being said. Sometimes there was problems sharing the screen, etc. So then in spring of 2019, we switched to Zoom, and we're all on Zoom now, and it kind of solved a lot of our technical problems. And so I would say the technology has come a long ways, and it kind of made it a little bit easier. Personally, myself, I would rather teach in person, face to face, because that's how it's supposed to be done. And you learn better, I think, culturally. It's more appropriate to learn face to face. But sometimes people are in places where there's no speakers, you know and they're in such locations where they can't get to a speaker all the time, or maybe they can't move back to their home community to learn with their own people. And so I think, just going forward in the future, we have to think about that. How are we going to get to some of these people, as our number of speakers goes down, and we have to kind of think about that. And I think, offering it online, that's a good way to kind of get past some of those hurdles so that we can reach more people. And also, we have to think about some of our people with disabilities too. Maybe they can't actually physically make it to class. And so it kind of helps them uh, because, it could be a little burdensome to drive all the way to a campus or catch a bus or, other things. So actually, I've had a couple of students with disabilities, and they said they'd never been able to take a Dakota class before because, it was hard for them to leave their home. And so it actually helped those people out a lot. Some of the requirements needed for online class is high-speed internet, which can be an issue for a lot of our rural people who are not in the city. So that has been a bit of a challenge sometimes. And a quiet place. I know a lot of us, we have bigger families, and myself, I have 5 kids. So sometimes they run into the space I'm here right now. I'm in my kind of front room in my house, and sometimes my kids kind of interrupt a little bit, so you kind of need a quiet space. And then headphones, I've got headphones on and a microphone, so that you kind of need those things. um, so those are some of the technical things, but kind of how did this partnership start between Whitecap Dakota First Nation and the University of Minnesota? Well, in 2019, I presented at Dakota Language Conference on the Zoom classes we were doing. And after that, there was some interest. And so we got 20 people from the Whitecap Dakota First Nation to join the class. And this is the way it always goes. Life happens, and sometimes you start off with a lot of people, and then as you go further and further, it kind of dwindles down a little bit. So at the end of 2 years, we had 6 people out of that initial 20 from the Whitecap Dakota First Nation finish at the end of 2 years, and I think that's a huge victory. And the other people, they've had stuff come up, and they couldn't finish the courses, but a lot of them are now interested in continuing, and they're going to sign up again as we go forward. And I think that is just something, that I think about is, we have to be patient with some of these people because life happens, and sometimes people need to take a break from learning, for whatever reason, death in the family, or maybe they lost their job, or other things happen, we don't know, and we have to be patient with those people. So then as we were going forward with the classes, we came up with this letter of agreement, and it was signed on October 14th, 2020. And we worked cooperatively on this document. And the U of M agreed to work with the Whitecap Dakota First Nation to advance revitalization, teach courses. We're going to offer an identified courses the tribal members want to take. And then the Whitecap Dakota First Nation is going to identify students and help them enroll. And then our department will help Whitecap Dakota First Nation pay the lowest possible rate for tuition. We have a scholarship program, so some of the students take advantage of that. And also we try to identify the lowest tuition rate they can get and help them make sure they get that. And so that was signed, and it's a 5-year agreement. And then in 2 years time, we're gonna revisit and see if how it's working out. So we were really happy about that, to sign this letter of agreement. So just my thoughts. I think it's a good platform to use because instead of having some students online, some in person, just having everyone online, even though I know we'd all rather be in person, but just since we're spread over a huge geographical area, Saskatchewan all the way down here to Minnesota, Minnesota all the way to Montana, it's, sometimes it's nice to have all of us online. We can see each other. We know we're all related because we're all Dakota people, and it's good because we can connect with each other from great distances, and we're all on the same platform, Zoom, and we're all learning the same way. And nobody has more access than the other person because, if we had some people in person and some people online, the people in person, they kind of have a little bit of an advantage over the online people. So that's kind of nice just to have everyone online, and they can connect from anywhere, from their house, from their work, from a library, as long as you have good internet and you can connect from anywhere. And I think it's a good way to make relatives too, with people from far away. I've made relatives with the people from Whitecap, and some people from Standing Buffalo. They joined in. We had people from Fort Peck, and I've had other students from other places join in. And we're all Dakota. We're all trying to learn the language. We're all trying to make sure it survives. And it's encouraging to connect with these people from a great distance. And so I just have some of my thoughts. I don't want to take up all the time. So I'll let the students kind of like talk about themselves. Maybe they could say a few words in Dakota, and then talk about their thoughts. And then we'll just kind of go down the list here, starting with Frank Royal. Frank, are you there?
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Matakiapi, Iskia, Wichiakap, Frank Roll, Makiapido, Chante Wastea, and a pet Usapi. Wapaska, Dakota Yate, Chiatawahi. Wapaska, Dakota Yate, Edwati. Wapaska, Dakota Yate, Edward Etchman. Wabdawado, Minnesota won't be Wakantia, Ed Wabdawa. Dakota Iapi Ki, Unspemachiche. Dakota Iaki Wachi. Dakota Iapi Umnichie Kendi Ed Huadaki Waste Unyahapi Unchimpi. Inana Pecte Pidamane Yape Dokstake. And I'll just say a few words in English here. I just finished up my second year at the University of Minnesota Dakota language program, and I learned a lot since then. And I recommend it to anyone who wants to learn the Dakota language. And as part of the course, we had to do assignments in written and recorded assignments. And some of the ones I did was a history of Wapaska and a trip I took to Usheti Shikawan, Oyate, Michtie, and in Pine Ridge. So, and then another assignment was on family and talking about your children, parents, grandchildren, sisters, brothers. So, and I am learning my language, and I want to make my ancestors proud by learning my language. And I look forward to future in-person language gatherings. And I know I have a lot of relatives in Canada and the U.S., and I also look forward to making my family contacts to the tribes in Canada and the U.S. too. So, pinana pekte, pinamani ape.
Oh,
Oh,
Washte. Yeah. How about Verna? Are you? I can't see everyone, so I don't know if you're here or not. Oh, Washte.
Ah, how matakiapi. Chunte mustea na pe chisapi. Dakota ya maka hahuzo imakiapi. Mushichuya Berna imakiapi. Pasca Oyate Loti. Charles Red Hawk. Wayawapi. Wayawa TP. Wachaman. Hello. I am taking the Dakota language class through the partnership with University of Minnesota. And I have been, for the past 2 years, we've been students there. And it's something that I really wanted, especially for myself. I do have children and grandchildren that I would like to pass on the language to, and to make sure that they have the opportunities to learn their language and to know who they are and know our culture and where we all come from. And I also like to thank Shishoka for teaching us these past couple of years. I know he tries his best to make sure that we do our work and because things do happen. We do, but he knows and understands that sometimes we do need to take care of family or whatever the concerns may be. And also we do, it has allowed us to really learn our language and also to work together to do that. Our group meets once a week, usually Sundays. We used to meet in person to do some work and study, but also lately we've been just Zooming on Sunday mornings just to help each other with schoolwork or the assignments that we need to do or just practice. And with that, thank you for the opportunity. And pidamaya.
Oh, Washte. Piramaya. How about Lois? Lois Bear.
Oh, God.
Lois, are you here?
He didn't say anything. He said Lois Bear. Yeah, but he might call on you if you're in the Zoom meeting.
Okay, I don't know if Lois is here, but how about Amy? Oh, okay. Amy,
Oh,
go ahead.
Hamitaki api, Ishki Awachia kapi, Shichu ia imi buffalo amaki api, Dakota ia Tashunko wakamach demi, amaki api, Wapahaska, Dakota oyanke hechia tahawahi, Omaka numpa he haya, Minnesota bonspe unkanti ya tawab dawaya, Dakota ia piki umaspe. So yeah, I've been learning the Dakota language at the University of Minnesota for the past 2 years. It was really helpful for me because, you know, I started trying to relearn my language when I was like maybe 19 to after being away from it for so long. And learning on my own was kind of difficult because I couldn't find as much resources at that time. So yeah, it was really hard to learn on my own. But when this opportunity came up, I really wanted to be a part of it because to me, like I really want to speak my language. I want to be able to teach my nephews and nieces my language. I really want to be able to speak to the elders in my own language. And this taking these classes really helped me throughout the past 2 years. And I think, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I think I'm done.
All right, watch day. All right, how about Susan? Are you there? Yeah. How about Nicole? Okay, how about, oh, you're here? Okay.
Awahi.
Oh, watch day. Okay, go ahead.
Amatakiapi. Iopia wachia kapi. Chante washtea. Na pe tiuza pie. Osichu ia Nicola makiapie. Tamakota oyate mikawa ki sisituanga tituanga wakbetua iwichaka yapie. Wapahaska oyate hechia taha wahie. Saskatoon Ontue St. Paul's Waya Janke Tipi Edmatupi. Saskatoon ga Dundern ga Hanley ed Imichake. Wana Wapahaska Oyanke Edwati. Minnesota Wunspe Wakantuye ed Wabdawa. Dakota Iape ki Owak Akaknike. Dakota Wachoe Wana Otar Shudod Waye. Taya Nidu Happy Doksha Ke Wachia Kapikte. Wana Wasicho Ia. Hi, my name is Nicole Johnstone. I'm from Whitecap, Dakota First Nation. I've been honored to take the Dakota Yape for the last 2 years. And I want to thank Sisokaduta for passing down his knowledge and his patience with all of us students. We were given a great opportunity, and I know as a group, we've come far from his teachings and what material and resources and just pushing us to get together and study and speak to each other. And so now in passing, we greet each other in Dakota, and it's very lovely. I myself have chosen to take Dakota to carry on the language for my family, to teach to my children, my grandchildren, my nieces, my nephews. Daksha, okay. Pidamiaye.
Oh, watch day, Pidami, you know. How about Lois standing?
Huh. Can you hear me?
Yep. Mhm.
Oh, hamatake api. Wichakli skawe make apie. Kushiwa ye chashmatu. Chante washtea na pechi yuzapi. Just want to say hi to everybody. Also wanted to just give thanks for the opportunity to all of those organizers who helped to put this class together for us online. It's been really a great opportunity, and learning with Wapahaska relatives and also from Sisokaduta. We've had a good few classes of learning our language. And yeah, there's so many more resources, because just linking to that class, we got linked to other classes and other resources that we could take online. So that supplemented our learning of our language. And yeah, so I'm going to continue on and for another year to learn our language. Piramayaya, Hanana Pekte.
Oh, washte pirame. All right. How about Chris? Chris Tandy.
Oh. What were you guys talking about?
Yeah. We'll talk about introduce yourself and then talk about the class.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sorry, came in late. I was doing some work, but yeah, I'm a taki api. I want you copy. Yushki, I want you copy. Dakota yashan kwa kanu bamnaji makiapero. Wasichi Kristan in the miedo. Mitawaki. Wachpeton ka shahia ga hohe. Wichiakapi. Want to scale in it, Tawani. Saskatoon, Ontume Edwati, Dakota Ape, Spain, Michiche. It was good to be part of the class this last year with Sisokaduta and the class and the classmates from Wapahaska and my auntie Lois and other students from the South of the Medicine Line. It's good to learn through Zoom. That's how I got going. Mr. Neil McKay, and on the Wednesday classes, actually he's starting pretty quick in a bit. But I met Joe and through Frank last year, and they said they had a class going, and then I was interested, and I wanted to take in the fall, and I said I would. Went to the last year's Dakota Summer Institute. I think they have one coming up in just a couple weeks. So if people are interested, check that out. It's not too late, I think, to sign up. And lots of free classes out there. Like Sisokaduta has these, usually has one on Thursdays, and I think Rain Cloud and Neil McKay and Joseph Circle Bear. There's lots, and hopefully it'll start popping up more and more throughout the fall. And through Zoom and different platforms like this, we can learn our language, and of course through our elders and through apps and books and songs and our culture. And this class really helped me. It really helped me kind of organize the language the best. It's really it helped me kind of understand the language that like I have a base. I know we have different ways of saying things in different communities, especially when it comes to modern Dakota language. So it's a really good base, and I encourage anyone to take the University of Minnesota Dakota language program, and also start to learn the language from your community, from your elders. And Sisokaduta and the classmates have been really big help for me, and I'm going to continue on as long as I can. And I think I have a class with Neil and them in the fall. Oh, Hanana Pekte.
Oh, washte pirame. How about Lillian? Are you here? Okay, I was just checking. Well, I think that's it for all the students. So I don't know if you guys, are we out of time? Do we have time for questions or no?
How we doing over there? We doing okay, Crystal? You're out of time? Yeah, I think we, we're out of time now too, so that's it. But good presentation of Panamiro, Sisokaduta, right on, Washtero. Just good to everything. Any last words you want to say before we move on?
Oh
here?
yeah. Would echo what Chris said there. Like we got to learn from our local people too. So we have this program at the U of M, and but I always encourage you find the people in your local community and your family, and don't forget about them. Learn from them. But it never hurts to take some classes too. Do everything you can. Do everything because that's how we're going to keep this language alive. So. That's it. I wish everyone a good summer. I have to get going. I'm on the road here now because I have to actually get going to the Black Hills for some stuff. So I'll leave now, but take care, everyone. Pidamaya yapi dokstake.